All right, so we got back in arms today, and hopefully it's going to be a pretty good lift. Honestly, back in arms isn't exactly my favorite thing to train. Back or arms, really. Just because, it's not like, something that I can actually enjoy, unfortunately, but, that's what it is. I guess the thing is, though, we got to, at least last arm day, we got to get a decent pump, but we got to do, those, straight bar rows, which I did not mind. So I might have to try doing those straight bar cable rows again. But yeah, as we'll see. I'm thinking we might change it up just, to kind of get a, like a variety. I mean, I would say, like shock the muscle, but that's not really a thing. So, you can say like you're gonna shock the muscle, but that's not really a thing. Your muscle fibers can't tell, whether you're doing, lat pull downs or a really lat biased row. Like your muscle fibers, it might recruit different muscle fibers. It might recruit extra or less, but it's not gonna. Your lats aren't gonna go, oh hey, we're doing straight bar rows now, so we're gonna grow a little bit. That's not really how it works, So yeah, but this all this nice weather has been making me think about summer, and I'm ready for summer this year. Pretty excited. Trying to think, what I mean. Yeah. So I guess plan is maybe do a powerlifting meet. Definitely do an assessment of my strength where I train and I peak and everything. Maybe not a powerlifting meet, a sanctioned powerlifting. Maybe not like a sanctioned legit powerlifting meet. Awards and you got the judges and everything. But oh, there was a cop back there. I almost had a heart attack because the cops here have gotten so much more strict over the last 3 weeks. But either way, we're gonna do an assessment of my strength, not just like a full max day, not just like a couple of days where we max. It's gonna be like a legit squat, bench, deadlift, max, and everything like that. So yeah, see, because it goes squat and then bench and then deadlift at the end. So deadlift usually is like the hardest lift to actually achieve like what you would call your max on, because squat, that's obviously the first lift you do. And then bench is upper body, so you obviously get a break from a lower body. But then after basically a full day of doing max attempts and everything, you got deadlift, and so by that time you're kind of worn out. So I'd say deadlift wise you can for the most part hit your max, but sometimes it might be just a little bit behind, just because after a full day of lifting you're not gonna be able to perform at 100%. You might be able to perform at like 95%, but it's not gonna be 100, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But I do want to do an assessment of my strength somehow. So yeah, but I'm gonna get inside, get warmed up and everything, and I will see you guys for that first set of whatever we do.
Sorry. I don't mind. I'm in your way, so go ahead. I can edit you out whatever you want.
All right, so very unfortunately, there's a train, and I've actually got a decent amount of homework today. Although I guess it's not that much. Let's go through it. No math, but I'll have double the amount of math homework tomorrow because I was gone for one of the days he assigned, you know, the stuff. So let's see. So no math, but since we're gonna have double. Oh wait, maybe not. Maybe there's not a train. I heard it. All right, well, and it's probably gonna cross the tracks as soon as I get over there. So, yeah, but that was actually a lot more enjoyable than my previous, you know, back in arm combo days. Neither are really my favorite to train, but I think just a combination of kind of, you know, changing it up between the between not supersetting and you know, doing some different exercises kind of helped out. And it was a little bit shorter than usual. It was only 6 sets, but I feel like that 6 sets was just enough. Feeling a little tweak in my elbow, unfortunately, but that's probably just some, you know, minor soreness. Luckily, we've got 2 days to rest between our next chest day, so that's gonna be kind of nice. But yeah, I was talking to one of the guys that was, you know, kind of around when we were, you know, like a decent football team, and he was saying, you know, I you know, people follow, you know, leaders. People want to follow other people. They want to do what's cool. They want to do what, you know, other people say is right and stuff. And so I think he was making a good point. And I was talking to him. I was like, man, I just don't think people care enough. And he was like, well, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's because there's, you know, not enough leaders. And so, you know, I'm going to try to kind of be a bit of a leader. The other thing I told him is that I think the underclassmen just aren't, you know, scared anymore. Like, he was talking about how, you know, like the upperclassmen would, you know, haze the younger guys if they didn't show up to lifting and stuff, and like the younger guys were like almost afraid to skip. And obviously it's not quite like that, but you know, that does kind of encapsulate the vibe of how, you know, a traditional football team is. You know, the upperclassmen kind of in control of the lowerclassmen, but the lowerclassmen are, you know, really just cocky and arrogant, and they're, you know, they're just super annoying, to be honest. And when I say lowerclassmen, I mean mainly, you know, the freshmen and some of the sophomores. The brother of the 2 twins on the football team, he's probably one of the few sophomores who's actually not a, you know, a bitch. In fact, I'd say he's probably one of the only ones who's not a bitch. And I say sophomore, I mean he's technically a freshman, but when I say sophomore, I mean, you know, I'm talking about, you know, the upcoming football season. So, current 8th graders are freshmen, and current freshmen are sophomores, vice versa. So, yeah, but I was thinking, you know, I don't think people care enough. Which I think it's a combination of that, underclassmen not knowing their place, and also like you know, the fact that there's just not many like leaders. So I feel like that's something that I can definitely affect in the, you know, in the sense of, you know, an action perspective. Like, I can be that leader and get out there and, you know, be asking people to show up to lifting and whatever. So, so I don't know, something that I'm gonna kind of try to focus on. Those pose down was not bad. My arms were looking pretty huge. So that's always kind of nice. Getting still very close to 405 on bench, but still got to keep working. Trying to think. Yeah. My chemistry grade's almost a B. It's like it's literally like 0.5% away. So I might be able to sign out next week, which will be really nice because I can get to the gym earlier. And so that'll be nice. I'm also ranked number 7 in my class, which is pretty nice. I just found that out now, but that's not even impressive, to be honest. Ranked number 7 is not that good. So I want to get, to the top 5 before senior year, but that means I got to get above a 5.0 GPA. And right now I'm sitting at like a 4.5 or 4, it's a 4.6 basically. It's like a 4.59. So this year I gotta try to get as high grades as possible, and then next year we just gotta load up on weighted classes. AP pre-calculus, college prep English, Spanish 3, Chem 2. Trying to think what other weight. I'm literally, if there's a weighted class, I'm going into it. Might even take Spanish 3 and 4 at the same time. That, and then we got obviously we gotta have a conditioning and a study hall. So I'll have one or two spots for another AP class, or like, well, we only have 3 AP classes at our school, but I might take AP statistics because that's a weighted class, but that would be 2 math classes, a chemistry class, like a chemistry 2, which is so it just so you guys know, our chemistry classes are not like a typical chemistry class. They're, it's about I don't know. Mr. Muir says it's a college-paced class, but that's our teacher. But I would say, compared to A-Push, which is a literal college-paced class, I would say this is like, 75 to 90%-ish of a college-paced class. So it's not AP. It doesn't, unfortunately, count for college, but it does prepare you for college chemistry. So yeah, he's kind of famous for making his classes really hard. But that means I would be taking, chemistry 2, which I actually really do enjoy chemistry. So that's not that bad. But I'd be taking AP pre-calculus, which, by the way, we only have AP pre-calculus. Stupidest thing on the planet, because it's basically just the current math that I'm taking. But AP, it's just like, so stupid. I don't know why on earth our school is like, yeah, we're gonna get AP pre-calculus because colleges care about pre-calculus. It's like, sorry, I kind of carried away there. But it is kind of upsetting because the system is completely rigged against these small schools that are like, not, they don't have resources and they can't afford to, pay for textbooks, and they can't afford, extra teachers and stuff like that. Like a big school up in, Champaign, which is probably the biggest city in the general area, at least for us. It's, anyone who's in Illinois knows what Champaign is. It's a big school, has U of I football team and everything. Big Ten school, so it's a big city, but like the schools up there, the high schools up there, can afford to have like a math teacher that can teach like stupid people math, a math teacher who can teach regular math, and then the math teacher who teaches only AP math. So it's like AP statistics, AP pre-calculus, AP calculus AB, AP calculus A and B, and AB, and AP, I don't know if physics, I'd say physics falls under math. And then, they have like an AP chemistry, AP natural chemistry, AP, I don't know, is there AP anatomy? Probably. They got all the AP sciences and stuff. Those schools can afford that, but we only have 3 AP classes at our school. So that kind of sucks, but is what it is. I'm just gonna have to make do with what I got. But I do have to get inside, get showered, do my homework, video get edited and everything. So I will see you guys for let's see, I might record Thursday squat session, but I'll see you guys for Friday chest day.